Hey there, everybody. Welcome into this Friday edition of ESPN FC's Extra Time. I couldn't even lure a smile out of you.
That's just a wee snigger for you, everybody.
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 One more time for me. How does it sound?
Everybody.
You're so bad at the American accent. I love it.
No, that's what you sound like.
Oh, so I'm bad at the American accent.
Oh, absolutely.
That laugh you hear is Aage Fjortoft. Craig Burley with us as well. Obviously, Steve Nicol here in studio. Craig, first question for you. Who should Manchester United sign in the summer? Kane, Cristiano Ronaldo, or should they extend Edinson Cavani's contract? That was a very serious question to start Extra Time.
Kane, Ronaldo, or, I think
he's lost his reading
Cavani's
glasses.
Contract. Sorry?
The reading glasses, you need them.
Oh, I would extend Cavani's contract and sign Kane.
Both. What do you think? Could that work?
Absolutely.
Yeah? A little too up front?
100%. Well, listen, Harry Kane's had a couple of injuries the last couple of years. So if you could give him a break now and again, how good is it to be able to play Cavani?
Yeah, not a bad 1A or 1B, whatever you want to
absolutely.
call it. Yeah. Jan, what do you think? Would Ole go for it?
Of course, he would go for it. He will try to extend Cavani's contract. I think that is very important for them to have that ready when you start the search for a new player. But you have to ask yourself, what will Harry Kane do? I think he comes to a stage in his career that he will want to win titles. And will you be guaranteed to win titles of Manchester United? I don't think so. I think that is Ole would love to have Harry Kane. Would the Glazers love to have Harry Kane because he had to give him money? Maybe they would have bad conscience because of the mystery with the Super League. So maybe this is the time for Ole to give a call and get some £100 million.
Jan Aage Fjortoft, noted Europa League hater. Does the panel think that Tuchel, because he doesn't have a superstar, is better able to coach this Chelsea team over his PSG team? Does PSG have to look at their strategy? Also, could Stevie please enact his Dan v. Seb fight again from yesterday's show? Let's start that. Let's start there.
Of you. Well, it was the two of you having a fight.
Right. What was the context of this fight? Just that's what
Just
the
the
viewers
question
want
was,
to see.
who would want to fight between you two? And I said that the two of you would be like this.
Handbags, nothing but this stuff. Oh. We're the two prettiest members of the ESPN FC family, so the moneymaker really has to be protected. Neither of us can really afford to have that happen. You're here on your playing resume, I'm here on my looks.
Listen, you could take a couple of punches and we wouldn't notice.
Come on.
What's the lightest weight you get at boxing?
I don't know.
Is it feather?
Yeah.
Is it light feather?
Light featherweight sounds about right.
Light feather.
Or feather.
Light feather.
But to the question of the first part of it, we are talking that Thomas Tuchel couldn't handle the stars of PSG. Times he did that. He took them PSG to the Champions League final. And you see Pochettino, he is so good apparently. And then you looked at PSG this week and they look like frightening chickens running around there, kicking people, trying to get a red card. Is that the way to do stars? I think Tuchel did a great job at PSG as well. So this myth that he can't handle big stars, I think that is a myth.
Jan, you had Chelsea going through, right? You were like
Absolutely.
the only one.
I did, and I still think they're going to win the Champions League final.
No, he went all serious. I was still thinking about you two fighting.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I was as well.
I was thinking about, you know what, it'd be like Stan Laurel fighting Charlie Chaplin. I mean, what a heavyweight contest.
What a dated reference that is. I mean, is this a 19...
What about Harry Lloyd?
God,
Do you know, hey?
Did you just reference a silent film star?
Yeah.
Hey, Sebi.
Yeah, Craig.
Do you know if they were building a boxing ring for you and Dan, you could take the top two ropes down, couldn't you? You just have one rope, that's all you'd need.
It's just too easy at this point. It's just too easy. I mean, we need to understand why the viewers want to see us fight so bad. I'm sure there's something.
You can have it in a shoebox.
That's right. That's right.
I'll tell you what, if it was in the telephone box, you think they'd make any contact with each other? Or would we just keep banging the head against the glass when they were done that?
Yeah, we're more talkers than fighters. Atanu asks.
Yeah, but you're not very good at that either.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate your candor, as always, here on Extra Time.
Well, last week you asked me where would Erling Haaland fit in?
You're right.
That's straight in the top 10 of stupidest question of the year.
Right. In the ESPNFC show host rankings, I'm plummeting. There's not that many options.
I don't think you've got anywhere to plummet to.
I'm at the bottom.
I think you've reached the bottom of the left.
Right, well, you're right. Well, there's some safety there in not being able to be relegated. Should Arteta have taken a similar managerial route to that of Lampard? Start from a lesser club, learn the trade, and then make the big move? I guess the obvious...
He started from a lesser club. He started as a lesser club. It's called Arsenal FC. I mean, I'm so sick of this that Arteta, you're having a go at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all the time. When do you start with Arteta? Craig, give it to me.
No, I agree, but my argument would be, and we haven't got the energy for the argument, is that Arsenal's you're absolutely right though, but Arsenal's expectations, as you well know, Jan, are not the same as Manchester United.
Exactly.
But you're absolutely right.
Fortunately.
He should. What's the criteria? You know, in all fairness to Solskjaer, he's managed a few clubs at least, and he's got probably a decade of experience at least in management. You know, this thought that all Guardiola's mates or anybody who's worked in and around him are all of a sudden capable of, you know, managing these big clubs, albeit one that, you know, and it's not just Arteta's fault, because Unai Emery is not a bad manager and he struggled at Arsenal too. Arsenal have left the rot too long at the end of the Wenger era. There's been too many bad decisions there, and Arteta is struggling big time. And, you know, I think it could be, I don't know what the boys think, but, you know, obviously we'll see this season out, but it depends how they start next season, how long he'll last. I don't think it'll be very long.
And it's very sad to see Arsenal the state they are in now. I mean, when I came to England, it's a long time ago, but Arsenal is a big football club. And there are people, I won't say in and around the club, I would say around the club, who have just let them walk, and you call it rot. They have rotten Arsenal, and the expectations they have at the moment is unbelievable. Remember back in the times when Wenger said to come, we'll be top four, is a trophy for this club. And I even saw today that someone said I should bring Wenger back at the club. But I agree with this Arteta thing. I like Arteta. He took a trophy there and everything, but it's not enough to sit next to Pep Guardiola to be a top manager. We have learned that, haven't we?
And do you know what else? Sorry, do you know what else, guys? It doesn't wash with football fans who've got a brain when you come out and say to the press after the game, well, we gave that everything we had. What? Sorry? If that was everything that you had and your team had, you might as well pack the suitcase now and leave. Because that's just nonsense. We gave it everything we had. They were rotten.
It's amazing the difference in the two London clubs, Chelsea and Arsenal. Because there's no question that Arteta is still hanging on because he's Arteta, because of his connections with the club. And he's basically, in 2 seasons, yes, he's won the FA Cup, but for the first time in 20-something years, they're not qualified for a European place.
Right.
But it's okay, and they're 9th in the Premier League, but it seems to be okay. Whereas you've got Chelsea with Frank, who had a fantastic first year under the circumstances, spent some money, started brilliantly, had a 12-game horrible run and got the sack. And it had nothing to do with his connections with Chelsea. It's just a different run club completely.
You are saying here, effectively, you're giving Chelsea credit for being impatient. But am I fair to say that on the show before you've said they should have been more patient with Lampard?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that one club dithers
moved
around.
on from a legend.
One
wait
club
around.
dithers around, stuttering from one decision to another, whereas Chelsea are decisive. Now you can argue whether the decisions are right or wrong, but they don't mess around. They don't chew their nails for 6 or 12 months. They make a decision, and when it's done, they move on.
Is now the decision time for Arsenal then? And it
Do you
sounds like
think
what you're
Arsenal's
saying.
going to make a decision?
If you were in
We
charge,
don't know.
Is now the time?
If it was the other way around and we were talking about Chelsea, we would say, oh yeah, they're making a decision. The fact that you're saying, do you think they will, proves my point.
But I think that it's interesting to see also the timing of sacking of Lampard is also when is the right manager available. And I think that there was a feeling that when Tuchel got fired at PSG, but still, I guess Chelsea is a very well-run club. They knew about what was going on. So I also get a feeling that Thomas Tuchel, at the end, before he was fired, he knew that the manager position at Chelsea could be available. And then you bring in Thomas Tuchel. So should Arsenal fire Arteta? Well, I haven't seen them approve for 6, 7, 8 months, the club. But it's also what kind of managers are available. And it's not only just to put a manager there. You have to have a plan where you want the club to go. And I agree with Stevie in terms of how the clubs are run, because Chelsea kills everybody saying that continuity is so important at the club. They keep on firing managers and they keep on winning trophies. That is Chelsea for you. That's what Abramovich has done, and well, he's been successful doing that.
All right, next question, guys. Let's move it along. What is the impact of playing with a good captain? Who is the best modern captain at the moment, and who is the best captain that you have had? Let's start on just the first line of that. What is the impact of playing with a good captain? Because I never know if the captaincy matters or not.
Well, I'll tell you my first experience of looking at somebody and saying, that's a captain, and you know what, I'm going with that guy, was 1984 European Cup final, Champions League final in Rome against Roma at their place. Before the game, we go out, go to our fans, I give them a wave, they're all clapping, singing the whole thing, and we turn around and we get to the halfway line as we're walking back towards the dressing room, and our captain, Graham Souness, went, why don't we get down and wind them up? And they're like, what do you mean? He goes, come on, let's go. So we all trooped down to their penalty area, and he's standing right up the front.
Before the final?
Aye, before the game, aye. There's probably about 45,000 Roma fans, and he's standing there and he starts waving, so we all started waving and clapping and all that, and they were going mental. And he had the biggest grin in his face, and I'm like, tell you what, I'm playing for this. I'm playing with this guy.
Yeah. Craig, the value of the captain?
I think respect from the other players, like Stevie said. I mean, Liverpool players would have hugely respected Graham Souness because he led from the front. I mean, he never shirked anything, Souness. I mean, he was a dirty so-and-so as a player, but he was all in, wasn't he? So I think that, probably when I was playing for Scotland with Gary McAllister, when Macker was captain of Scotland before he missed the World Cup because he got a cruciate injury, but he was a good guy to follow. He was a different mould to Souness. He didn't have that nasty streak, but he was a quieter guy. But yeah, you just got to respect your captain, and I don't know about the boys. I'm sure Stevie are that captain, but for a period at Celtic, I was the captain, and the same at Derby. But difficult circumstances when you're fighting relegation and you're trying to drag everybody along. So different type of pressure. I don't know. People like Vincent Kompany and Roy Keane at United were guys that people would follow, and John Terry at Chelsea. Just thinking about a few names, were guys who led from what they did on the field, and everybody else sort of just got in line behind and followed along.
Well, it is Friday, which means we should end the week on a positive note. That's what the producers and the folks on Twitter have asked, which is why we're going to end with this question. Will Craig finally give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the respect after lifting the Europa League trophy?
Oh,
well,
absolute no.
This is a moot point because Manchester United have recently lifted that trophy and finished second in the league in the same season. So, look, they are, as they did back then, they are doing what they have to do. They're playing okay. But I'm only judging Man United when really fighting with Liverpool and City for the Premier League title. And if they spend money this summer and bring in some of the players we've talked about, maybe Solskjaer will have a better a better go at it, if he gets Harry Kane or player of that ilk, maybe they will be able to mount a serious challenge. But that's where I'm sort of putting Man United at the moment. And it doesn't matter who's managing them. If it's Solskjaer or if they brought in Pochettino and it was a Europa League. It's all about winning titles for me when you're at clubs that size. So that's not changing.
You know when I said no.
No.
I'm assuming that's a Man United fan. You talk about trying to jinx yourself.
Yeah. Can't say
No.
when they win. It's an if.
I would be saying the same thing no matter who was manager of Man United, not if it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or anybody else. That this club needs to be, and I know the squad needs some. I know they need to rejig the squad about, and I understand that. But I'm basing my judgment on this club against Liverpool and City as the two teams that have set the standard recently. And Mourinho came in, wasn't able to do it. Van Gaal before it wasn't able to do it. Solskjaer at the moment has done enough that he'll get another run at it next year for sure. But somebody at some point is going to have to take United back to where Sir Alex Ferguson had them. And maybe he'll be that man. We'll see.
Last word, quick word, Jan.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I think what you should give him compliment for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the Europa League is not the biggest trophy that Manchester United could or should win. I think what we should give him compliment for, now you can see how he wants his team to play football. And the result will then be the consequences of that. Manchester United, who have the standard of being top two, was not good enough to be number 2 in the league. But you have to come back, and now we'll have another run. But you need to have a good transfer market to make them into a title contender. That's the only thing, the standard that Manchester United got to have as a club and as the size of that big club.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think just quickly, I think if, and this is a big if because of the budgets, because of the pandemic, we don't know what clubs are going to spend or not going to spend. But if United deliver him a couple of key players, Harry Kane, Erling Haaland, throw some names out there, then the pressure will crank up on Solskjaer for sure, because if those players are delivered and he's still off the pace, then I think that'll be it for him. If they don't give him those players, I think he can always use that, and maybe rightly so, as a reason to say, well, listen, you're not giving me just quite enough. But if they do buy some big guns in the summer, yeah, it's going to be great for them, but it's also going to crank up the pressure on him to bridge that gap.
All right, gentlemen, that's it for today's edition of Extra Time.
Is that
beautiful.
positive?
It was wonderful, eloquent, very upbeat for all our Manchester United fan viewers. All right, that's it for more MUTV. Check out ESPN FC 7 days a week.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.